Waking up victorious. Wake up, wake up, 49er fans. Damon Bruce, Larry Krueger, brought to you by Sam's Chatterhouse. And Larry, what a difference a week makes. I mean, that was not a fabulous opponent, but you don't need to measure yourself by the strength of your opponent. You need to measure yourself by your own execution in this league. The 49ers executed better. They played better. It was just a much better showing than we saw in Los Angeles, and still an awful lot of coachable moments, plenty of room to improve, but they're 2-2, and that's exactly where they needed to be.
Yep. Yeah. I made this point yesterday. It didn't matter what it looked like stylistically. I mean, this was the gotta have it game. You just had to have the W. It really didn't matter. Nobody's going to remember what this looked like. You just had to have the W. But to me, it's like when you watched what we saw, Damon, we don't talk enough about Jordan Mason. We just don't. I don't know why, but we just don't talk enough about this kid. 24 carries for 123 yards, 5.1 a carry. The 5.1 a carry is what I kind of wanted to fascinate on for just a second, because this is what this guy's game log looks like this year. 5.3 a carry against the Jets, 5.0 a carry against Minnesota, 4.1 a carry against the Rams, 5.1 a carry against New England. He's averaging 4.9 a carry for the season over a month of football. It's rare to see a running back that's a regular, that gets regular carries go for over, 150 on the ground, but it also is incredibly rare to see them go for over 5 yards a pop per carry. And especially when you're not a speedy guy. Usually it's like, a guy who's like, oh my God, he made one guy miss and he took it to the house and it was 90 yards. And that's why he's averaging 5 yards a carry, because he just had that one long run. This guy's not a speedster. This guy's a big 5'11", 225-pound power back with nifty feet. And he's averaging over 5 yards a carry for his career. I mean, it's an unbelievable thing when you really think about it. His career average is 5.2 a carry. 5.2 a carry.
He's another one of those Shanahan off the street running back success stories. And when it's said and done, if it keeps going like this, he might be the most successful of them all. Look, no running back does it alone. I think that this is confirmation that the offensive line and its play has improved. We know that run blocking has not been nearly the problem that pass blocking has been, and there's some pass blocking problems, still out there, but this offensive line is better, and Mason is he's like a little bit of a throwback, Larry, because I miss the days of a workhorse back. I miss the days of a guy who you can just pencil in for 25 carries and he's going to get stronger as the game goes along and all sorts of beat your chest football sayings like that. He's the real deal, man. And what a luxury that the 49ers have found in Jordan Mason while Christian McCaffrey is dealing with his injury. They've missed nothing. They're different players, yet somehow they're producing similar results. Because McCaffrey, if I do explain what he gives the Niners from the running back position more than anything else, more than diversity, scheme diversity, more than the ability to catch out of the backfield, the guy is, he generates explosive plays. When you have a running back that can generate explosive plays, you got an offense that can really get cooking. And this guy generates as many, if not more, explosive plays than Christian McCaffrey does. He is 8 to 12 yards down the field all the time. He really is. And anything over 10 yards is technically an explosive running play on the ground. I believe he leads the NFL in explosive running plays. He leads the NFL in 100-yard rushing games. He's had 3 of them so far this season, 3 and 4. So, he is everything that the 49ers wanted him to be, and he's certainly everything that they needed him to be right now going through this McCaffrey issue. So, doesn't look like Isaac Guerendo is going to be knocking on his door, looking to take some reps away from him. I think Patrick Taylor does need to be the next man up until Christian McCaffrey returns, because I know Guerendo is someone that we will talk about probably in unfavorable terms here, Larry. But you're right. Jordan Mason. Remember that name, underline it and bold, italicize it. And we need to pick. Is it Jordan Mason or JP Mason? I keep on hearing both. I think we need to determine which it is. I think we got to talk to Greg Papa about this one.
Well, I'll say this, the only disappointing thing about the whole JP Mason story is that he has such a bad taste in his mouth from, saying the wrong thing and feeling like the media, took what he had to say and twisted it and this and that. So I don't know if you've seen his post game interview, but they're joyless. I mean, it's just like, yeah, right, yeah. I mean, it's like he's really doesn't want to be there. It's like really obvious. I haven't interviewed him this year because it's so obvious that he doesn't want anything to do with the media. And the last thing I ever want to do is sit down to do an interview with somebody who doesn't want to be talking to me.
Right. You need a willing participant for an interview to produce anything. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
was he different before this Monday night snafu? I mean, did you notice? Because you're around the team in the locker room.
He was totally gregarious before that.
Right. And now he's just stung by this media moment. So he's gone full Bill Belichick. I'm going to give you nothing. And if I give you nothing, you'll ask me less.
Right. And it's probably going to work for him. But unfortunately, it takes another guy. I mean, like for you and me, we don't need quotes. No. I mean, if he flips the bird to the media core, it doesn't really affect us. It really just doesn't. I'd love to say, in an ideal world, I'd love every guy to be gregarious and share all kinds of great yarns with all of the media and this and that. But you know what? If this guy doesn't want to talk, it's no skin off my nose. I don't need his quotes. I don't need to go up to his locker and ask him about it. He can keep rumbling for 120 yards a game, and I can just, wave to him from across the room. Hey, good to see you, bud. I don't need to hear him talk. But it is kind of unfortunate because he is the running back on a team that's, when the running back goes for 123 yards and 5-1 a carry, the people are standing at your locker and you got to say something. So he got through it, but it was painful to watch, and hopefully he'll get better. As far as Guerendo, I mean, forget, I said yesterday that, I thought Guerendo could be a key guy. Why? Because I was totally snookered by Chris Forster saying how awesome he looked. And in reality, they're just trying to talk him up because they know they need to have another guy, and they know that everybody's kind of was down on his one carry. So now they're going to try to we're going to tell you what we're seeing, but in reality, it's lies.
Yes, film don't lie. Film don't lie, and game don't lie, and production don't lie. And if you really believed he was the right guy to return kickoffs, upon making his first mistake, you wouldn't have yanked him, right? Right, and if you really thought, yeah, he is the right guy for the job, you don't take it away from him the minute he makes his first mistake. So I thought that was a real telltale sign, and we didn't see him involved in the game after that fumble, and it was the worst fumble of the day, of the game. I mean, there was no way the Patriots were going to climb back into it. I even saw Shanahan saying, it's a player fumbling. I said, you can't blame it on a rookie. You can't blame it on a special teams play. No, man. No. Like, this special teams is a problem. And Kyle Shanahan has basically told us he is uninterested in correcting this problem. If you're looking to shake up a locker room that you're afraid might have some doldrums about it, going left of center, and it would be very much left of center for the 49ers to fire anyone midstream. They don't operate like that. They never have really as a franchise. They don't really now as a franchise. You want to get your locker room's attention, you start snatching careers. That perks guys up in meetings, in locker rooms, and lets everybody know this is a season that is defined by us not fooling around here. And it seems like they're continuing to fool around on special teams. Every single week, it's a problem. Every week.
Well, I mean, this is the guy they drafted to be their return guy. I mean, they can see what I can see. He's not a running back. Otherwise, he would be getting running back carries, and he didn't. He got what? We got one carry for no yards. So they see that he's not a natural running back, and he's just a big, strong, fast. I mean, if he can't be the kickoff returner, then what the hell is he on the team for? What's he on the team for if he can't be the kick returner? So he's got to be the kick returner. So, I mean, I'd give him another shot. He's explosive, but I mean, he's already had two. He's only how many touches? Let me just look at this. How many touches has Isaac Guerendo had this year? He has had 7 carries. 7 carries, and I don't see any receptions. So he had a couple. So he's had less than 10 touches, and he already has, I thought it was 2 fumbles. It says here 1. Maybe just 1. Okay. He's got 1 fumble. The other one he just ran into the back of his offensive line. Yeah, so I mean, he doesn't have running back instincts. He is big, strong, and fast. He would be exciting if you can get him in open spaces, but if you can't trust him to hold the ball at all because it's just going to get popped out, it's like you might need to redshirt this guy. You might need to, the shame of it. He's big, strong, fast, and can't play, and he's on the active roster. And Keyshawn Vaughn is ready to rumble as a running back, and he's on the practice squad. They need to trade these guys. They need to put Garendo on the practice squad. Here's the thing, though. He's so big and so strong and so fast that if you put him on the practice squad, he probably gets plucked by an Arizona Cardinals. Then you're going up against him next week. So you got to kind of they're in a weird pickle. You can't. It's like the Trey Lance thing all over again. You can't draft raw players and expect them to take 53-man roster spots. There's just not enough roster spots to go around. You're already going with 51 while other teams are going with 53. You can't go with like 48. And you got to have a full complement of players. I think it's look, there's no reason to try to flush the guy 4 games into his career either. Right. But it is unfortunate. The 49ers needed someone to help in kick return, and they needed someone to back up Mason, and it seems this guy right now is incapable of providing either. I'm not going to say you should have kept Cody Schrader when he's not even on the Rams, big boy squad. He's a taxi squad player for the Rams, but they probably should have kept Cody Schrader. They probably could have kept Matt Breida. There are other guys who have done the job. And look, getting back to Jordan Mason, how did that guy not get carries in the Super Bowl? I mean, he was on this team last year. How is that guy not getting carries in the Super Bowl? They might have won it had he been in that game. Like forget that game, Damon. How about just leading up to that game to make CMC fresher? Exactly. Yeah. And by the way, Jordan Mason is leading the NFL, I believe, in carries as well. So Kyle Shanahan is no new notes. Like no lessons are going to be learned by Kyle. Kyle's got a way of doing something. I don't know if I don't know if he's got another real option that he trusts right now, just based on the scores he doesn't. The fact that Debo coming back from injury is right back to being his other running back. That was a little surprising. That was interesting. To see Debo as a running back. Yeah, I didn't think they were going to ask him to do that much. Again, coming back from you weren't even available last week situation. I didn't think they would put that on him, but I guess if the player's ready to play, you play him. But there's no doubt that Kyle Shanahan is intended to run Jordan Mason into the ground this year. He will. He'll give that guy 400 carries if he can. Or Christian McCaffrey might be able to save him at some point, but Jordan Mason is going to be carrying the rock an awful lot. And here's the good news. He can do it. Like, you always want a pitcher who wants the baseball. You want a running back who wants the football, and Mason clearly does. And he's had great success with it. And the 49ers are back to 2-2 because of it. And they got a better run blocking line. And you know what? If Ayuk is out of shape and you don't have a great pass protecting line, then run the ball. You have a monster runner. Just run him. And I have no problem with 24 carries. I mean, he's had 28, 20, 19, and 24. If he's feeling good, go with it. If he's not feeling good, that's another thing. It's like if you have to wheel him into the facility on a Wednesday, then you know what I mean? Then maybe you ease off on the carries. But if the guy's feeling good, and by all accounts he is, you know what? Ayuk is clearly not Ayuk quite yet, but he looked better in this game than he looked in the previous game. So he's rounding into form. Let's let him round into form and just run the ball if you can. Larry, I want to talk about the other player on this team that we don't talk about enough. But first, welcome everyone. The Niners are back to 2-2. Better than that, the entire weekend is pretty much breaking the 49ers way. The Rams lose, the Cardinals lose,
And the Seahawks got a really tough game on Monday Night Football in Detroit this evening. So it could be a perfect weekend for the Niners where they win, the rest of the division loses around them. That's good news. I think that, this was a good week. And I know that every critic out there is saying, well, the Patriots are a completely unimpressive outfit, and therefore this doesn't mean much. No. It does. You only have 18 games, right? That's it. 17, excuse me. They're going to 18. You only have a small amount of games to win, so you need to win them all. As many as you can. You apologize for your opponent, not never in this league. So it was a really good day for the Niners. I bet you we're going to maybe give a lobster roll, Larry, to maybe even the same player here, even though we only played about half the game. And we'll talk about how we're on ankle watch this week. But before we do that, we are brought to you by Sam's Chowder House. Larry, show the good people what they've got waiting for them at Sam's Chowder House down in Half Moon Bay. This is a restaurant that was born to be in California. I mean, everything about this place is exactly what you want when you go out for lunch or dinner in California. Look at that lobster roll. And now, here it comes. The paella, no joking around. Drop the Cioppino, and that's the encore. You can walk off. You don't need to play any more songs after that. You can say good night, everybody, once you hit the table with a little Cioppino. Larry, Sam's Chowder House, it's the best.
Oh, it's second to none. I mean, seriously, sitting on this patio, especially during, Niner season, a lot of people who watch this show come out and catch the Niners here in Northern California, especially later in the year, Damon. I got to think that if you're a Niner fan in a colder part of the country, you know what? If you're going to fly to San Francisco, why not wait till it gets cold where you're at and fly out here in, October or November? And this is what it is like in October and November here. It's glorious. It's sunny. You can walk with shorts on the beach. You can go to a restaurant and sit on the patio like Sam's and enjoy some amazing mussels and oysters and cioppino and seafood pasta and the best French bread of all time. It's like, seriously, I'd be shocked if you didn't say, we'll take a little bit more French bread. That it's an incredible sourdough, and then some amazing cocktails, and you're looking out at the water and the waves breaking, and you can get there a little early and kind of walk along the little strand of sand there. They have a little alcove. It's really, really nice. And if you go in October, you can go pick out your pumpkin, go to Pastorino Farms, which is about a mile away, and get your pumpkin bread and all that. And the kids love all that. And they have little carnival rides. So it's a great, Half Moon Bay is a great spot. Always, like all year long. It's a great spot.
Old Princeton Landing's a great bar down there. Love Old
What's
Princeton
it called? What's it called?
Old Princeton Landing. It's a bar. It's like almost right around the corner from Sam's on, and that other little kind of like you little right on the jetty there. Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot out there. If you're driving south, you got the Pacific Ocean on your right hand side, and you have a heavy agricultural community. It's actually one of the really cool spots where the agriculture meets the coastline, and it's really, really neat. You'll love it. The weather's amazing, and make a day of it. Make a day of it. You'll love it. You'll tell everybody the food is phenomenal. The location is second to none, and you get a little bit of Bay Area. And a lot of people, I saw, Damon, when the Super Bowl was here, there were a lot of national people, Mike Florio and others, who worked at the Moscone Center because that's where Media Row was, a Radio Row was, and they stayed at like the Marriott, like right there on Mission Street. And they walked from like Mission and 3rd to like, Folsom and 3rd. And we're like, San Francisco's a dump. No, you're walking through South of Market, near the Tenderloin in an urban setting. And yeah, there's some urine. There's some drug dealers, and that it's a freaking city. But guess what? If you come here from wherever, Indiana, Iowa, Chicago, New York, Philly, Northern California is glorious. And Half Moon Bay is a jewel. What I was going to say is Half Moon Bay is great all year round, but in September, October, November, we're talking about the pressure system then goes off the coast. It's foggy in the summer. It's foggy Half Moon Bay is foggy in May and June and even July, but late August through like Christmas, you're talking about beautiful sunshine, great temperature, unbelievable weather. So you'll enjoy it.
It's fantastic. It really is. Look, if you need a sandwich, I want you to go to Ike's. If you have to have some barbecue, you get to Pig and a Pickle. But if you're looking for seafood, you go to Sam's Chowder House in Half Moon Bay. You tell them that Damon and Larry sent you, and they'll be really happy to hear that. We thank Paul and Julie for sponsoring us. We're thrilled to have them aboard, and you'll be very happy that you went down there. My lobster roll of the day, Larry.
Yeah, who are you giving your lobster roll? Not game balls on the wake up, but the lobster roll giveaway.
The lobster roll this week goes to Fred Warner. My God, this guy, I'm telling you, I hope his ankle is just fine. His sideline demeanor post-injury looked really, really good. I don't want to worry about it. I'm not going to allow myself to worry about it because guys with really bad ankles are not walking around just happy to be on the sideline after that. They wouldn't let him back out there to put weight on it if there was something really bad. And you said you saw him at the post-game press conference. He was moving around good. That's all good news. Hopefully he doesn't wake up today and anything changes. Fred Warner is the best linebacker in football. I don't know if the Niners can actually point to any single position and say that's the best guy in football, not even left tackle, because there's a couple out there that are just as good as Trent right now. Fred Warner is the best. If we were having a middle linebacker draft, he goes number 1 overall, no matter which team is picking. That is who he is. His wallet is the one that says bad motherfucker on it. I mean, he is just unbelievably good in every direction. And the play that he made highlighted the full depth and breadth of his talent. He caught the ball like a tight end. He bounced up off the turf like a gymnast. And then he ran like he was Jordan Mason, 45 yards into the end zone. He is spectacular, and he has put together through 4 weeks, I believe, the strongest statement for defensive player of the year we've seen in the NFL. Maybe TJ Watt's right there in the conversation as well, but Fred Warner's unbelievable, Larry. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame if he stays healthy and plays long enough.
He's the best coverage linebacker I've ever seen. And I'll say this, I think real 49er fans know that Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are the heart and soul of the team. And those are the guys, those are the leaders. You can name captains, and Shanahan has a bunch. And there's a lot of good players on this football team, and there's a lot of guys that lead in their own way. But if you just wanted to say, man, screw the monikers, who are the leaders in the room? It's Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. Fred Warner this year, Damon, 27 tackles, 4 PBUs, pass breakups. That's what PBU stands for. 2 forced incompletions, 2 interceptions, including yesterday's pick 6, 1 sack, 10 yards allowed per game in coverage is probably the most impressive stat of all of them. 10 yards a game allowed in pass coverage and a 17.6 passer rating when targeting Fred Warner. That's what opposing quarterbacks have put together. So he's an outstanding player. Now, would I make him the DPOY? I would not. Okay. Personally, I think what Hutchinson's doing in Detroit, and you'll see him tonight, he's got like 12 more pressures than any other player in football. I mean, he's making Nick Bosa look like his little brother right now. This guy is scary good. So I'd give my vote to Hutchinson just slightly over Fred. But Fred is, I thought he maybe had crested the hill and was starting on the decline. Nope. This is his apex. I mean, this is his amazing apex. And I agree with you. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he in time, he'll be a Hall of Famer. I hope that it's not one of those things where, and I think it might be, Damon, completely. I fear this. It was Willis and Bowman. And Willis came first. Bowman came second. Willis was a little bit better, but Bowman was awfully awesome and awfully dominant. And Willis is going to the Hall of Fame, and Bowman's completely forgotten. And I hate the fact that I get the sense that Warner and Greenlaw are the same thing, where Warner is going to be, remembered forever as some Hall of Famer, and Greenlaw is going to be forgotten 45 minutes after he gets off the field. And yet they were very, very comparable.
Yeah. There was a time where the only linebacker in the league who might have been better than Patrick Willis was Navarro Bowman. They were incredible teammates. They really were. And these two guys, it's a shame that Greenlaw's not out there right now because they feed off each other. They make each other better. And we're looking at Fred do this without his partner in crime. And I think it's the best start to any season I've seen for Fred Warner. That's why he gets my lobster roll of victory. Larry, who are you giving yours to, or does Fred get a bite of yours as well?
I'm going to give mine. Well, I won't double up just because I'll respect the fact that you got Fred first. So I'll let you go with Fred. It would be real easy to go with Mason. Mason was fantastic. I really loved what I saw yesterday from Jair Brown. I thought it was really exciting watching Malik Mustafa play deep middle, and I talked to him about it in the locker room after the game, and I was super thrilled for my guy Sam Aquinu, who got a quarterback hit. They didn't give him a sack, Damon, even though he got the sack. But 91, I loved the way 91 played.
He's not going back to the practice squad. He's staying up.
Yeah, he's staying up. He's a hell of a player. And I love Evan Anderson, who got a sack. The gigantic rookie defensive tackle. They're all good. All those guys are good. But guess what? I'm going to go deeper. Because that's the way I roll. Dominic Puni yesterday, Damon, in pass protection. 29 pass blocking snaps. No pressures allowed. No sacks allowed. Puni is yet to allow a sack or a quarterback hit in 146 pass blocking snaps this season. And he was perfect yesterday. And even had to come out of the game for a little bit because he got dinged up, but he's okay. Yeah, I'm giving, it would be easy to give it to Mason, but you know what? There were some big holes there. Debo ran for 7 yards a carry. The Niners as a team ran for 4.6 a carry. I'm going to give it to Puni on the right side at right guard.
That's a great pick. I mean, it really is. And it feels like he's providing the balance that the offensive line was looking for. It was all stacked to the left, and now it can come back a little bit to the right. We didn't have a day where we said Colton McKivitz's name once, right?
Played well.
Didn't say his name once.
Didn't say Keon White's name once, Damon. Yeah, that's who we went against, I think.
One of their best players defensively. Look, the Patriots are very much, undermanned. They're not a good football team. We see that. It's easy to see that. You watch enough football, you know that the minute they are down 2 points or, two touchdowns, 2 scores, it's pretty much over for them. And it's going to be that way the entire year. They had an offensive line that was banged up before the game started, and they lost their starting center in the first series. Outside of Jabril Peppers, I mean, nobody had a really good game yesterday. And Peppers was awesome, by the way. He is a hell of a player.
He might be their best player.
Malik Mustafa, though, you said it was nice to see him get his first start. He whiffed on his first tackle on Ramondre Stevenson. I think he was maybe a little overhyped. And then he had just a getting the job done day. He didn't really stand out again. I haven't rewatched the game yet or seen the all 22. My eyes will be on him when I do. It's a shame he didn't come away with that near interception at the end of the game. Oh, I thought he was going to get his fingers on that and get the deflected interception. But it was good to see him get into the mix. Shanahan doesn't like rookies. Rookies really got to earn their playing time, and it looks like he's on his way to earning it. When Talanoa Hufanga comes back, it'll be a little bit of a change for him. But Mustafa's going to be involved in every single game plan of this year. That's obvious.
Yeah, I mean, he is, he's a great kid. Super smart football player. I mean, when it's like, what stands out more, his intellect or his physicality? It's like they're neck and neck. I mean, it's really impressive. He played 64 snaps, which is pretty damn good. 64 snaps yesterday for Mustafa. Here were the snap count in the secondary. Lenore played 64. Mooney played 64. Mustafa played 64. Jair Brown played 64. Renardo Green played 23. And Isaac Yadam played 16. So I like the fact that Green got in there. But let's talk about Mustafa, because I talked to him afterwards, and he said, when I was in college, my first game in college, I had an interception exactly like that I dropped. I said, really? He said, yeah, it was really weird, it was like I got a lot of deja vu, dropping that interception. But yeah, he played the deep middle. I asked him about it, not on mic or on camera, but just we were chatting at his locker. I said, Malik, how comfortable are you in the deep middle, whether it be in a zone or man to man? And he's like, I played a lot of deep middle, so that was great to hear, Damon, because I was fearful that they had 3 box safeties in Jair, Hufanga, and Mustafa. And it sounds like Mustafa, it feels comfortable in, down the field. So what does that mean? That probably means that Hufanga or Jair Brown will not start. That would be my guess once everybody's healthy. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Mustafa will go to the bench, but I don't think Hufanga or Jair Brown are ideally suited to play. They're both box safeties in an ideal world. So I know Brown's a better coverage guy than Hufanga. Hufanga's a little bit more of an experienced head than the rest of these guys. So he's kind of like almost like a coach on the field. But if Mustafa can play the deep middle, then I think you play Brown and Hufanga, interchange them, and play Mustafa a lot as the free safety. We know he's a thumper. We know he can hit. If he can cover, they're ahead of the game. And I thought the biggest move yesterday, even though Patriots weren't going to win, but the Niners pulled Yadam for Renardo Green in the second half. And Renardo Green, I don't think gave up a single reception the rest of the game.
I thought he played well. I mean, I know I just said, let's give the Patriots the respect of being a pro football team, but at the same time, I don't know if they are the right team to make any concrete decisions about how your safety is going to, or who your safety is going to be, how your secondary is going to operate, because they're like devoid of lift the lid off talent. What you fear the most about the 49ers is basically a fire alarm that the Patriots can't even really pull, right? I mean, they can't. Jacoby Brissett is on his back or getting hit on 3 Mississippi, every single drop back. I mean, that guy, he should get bonus time. Like, I don't know what his NFL paycheck is, that he should get bonus time, overtime, time and a half for what he is doing for the New England Patriots right now. He should go into their Hall of Fame based on the sacrificial lamb that he is being asked to play this year for Drake May. He really should. Patriots put him in the Ring of Honor. It was the day the defense needed to have against that caliber of offense. We said they got to take advantage of a banged up offensive line. They did. Lots of pressures, lots of hits, 6 sacks. I thought that Bosa was what is Bosa's snap count? Do you have the entire snap counts in front of you? Because it felt like Bosa wasn't out there frequently on first or second down in this game, and they were saving him for that fourth quarter, and Bosa was a menace in the fourth quarter. Nick Bosa did not have a great game. He had a great
the Niners, I don't have the snap count, Damon. Oh, yeah, I do. Actually, I do. I do have the snap count. Let me just get it here. But the Niners generated 31 total pressures and had 6 sacks against the Patriots, according to PFF. Now, 31 pressures. Nick Bosa, according to PFF, had 7 pressures and 1 sack. Leonard Floyd had 6 pressures. Kevin Givens had 4 and 2.5 sacks. Malik Collins had 4 and 1.5 sacks. Sam Aquino had 3. Evan Anderson had 2 and 1 sack. Yatir Gross-Matos with 2. Campbell with 2. Jordan Elliott with 1. Let me see the snap count here. I've got the
and by the way, I hope Aquino is not a one and done guy. I hope he's not. I hope it isn't. He looked really good in the right situation before anybody got any tape on him. And then he's just going to kind of drift away and get lost in the remainder of the season. He can really change the way this defense operates, Larry. It was good to see Leonard Floyd find his name in the box score and hear his name used in a broadcast, because it had been a couple of weeks since he had appeared to make any impact. So that was a good showing. Malik Collins, I thought, played one of his best games so far with the 49ers.
Yeah. I don't see it, actually. I don't see the snap counts here.
Okay.
I'm looking at the defensive snaps. I've got the full defensive stats if you want them, but I don't have
that's okay. Look, maybe it's my eyes that even fooled me. But normally, Bosa is pretty easy to see sticking out the way that he lines up, and he looks like he's a sprinter about to take off from the block there. But it doesn't matter. Whatever. Look at it this way: if they saved a little extra gas for Bosa in the game to have an extra full tank in the fourth quarter, it seemed to work because that's when Bosa really did take over the line of scrimmage. Of it, would you say he had 7 pressures?
Yeah,
I bet you 4 of them came in the fourth quarter. I mean, he was all over Jacoby Brissett in the fourth quarter, and then he hit for the sack cycle. He got the sack, the strip, the fumble, and the fumble recovery. So you can't have a much better impactful defensive moment than that. Other than Fred
the
Warner,
cool stat. The cool stat to me was that Bosa only hit the quarterback once on the day, but the Niners hit the quarterback 9 other times. So he got 1 hit on the quarterback, but Collins, Givens, Aquanu, Floyd, these guys all had hits on the quarterback too. So they had 10 total hits on the quarterback, but only 1 from Nick.
It's the first time the 49ers have had 6 sacks in a game since they had 6 sacks up in Seattle last year. So it was a good day for a 49ers defense that needed a better day than they've shown us in the past 2 weeks. Oh, by the way, Larry, talking about how the league sort of broke around the Niners yesterday with the Rams losing in Chicago and the Commanders beating the Arizona Cardinals. And again, the Seahawks got a tough one tonight. Can I submit another piece of evidence that it was a good weekend for the 49ers?
Sure.
These Minnesota Vikings are no joke, kids. The further away the Niners get from that loss, the more digestible it becomes. Not happy that you lost the game. There's no pat on the back when you're trying to get to a Super Bowl, but it's not like they lost to a bunch of turkeys in Minnesota. This Vikings team is just whooping ass. And Sam Darnold right now, if we had to stop the league and take an MVP vote, he's finishing in the top 3. Sam Darnold's been unbelievable. I think he leads the NFL in touchdowns.
He's been incredible. Blake Cashman has been incredible. The linebacker that they signed in the offseason. Cashman had 11 tackles, 2 hits on the quarterback, a TFL. I mean, yeah, Jefferson is amazing. Now they got Jordan Addison back. You got Aaron Jones running the ball. I mean, yeah, they're solid on the line of scrimmage. Darnold was 20 of 28. He did turn it over twice yesterday, so maybe the turnover.
He's Sam Darnold, right? He's got to let everyone know it's a Sammy game. He's got to have all these ones.
And if the game had gone, another quarter, I think Green Bay was going to win it. Green Bay outscored them 22-3 in the fourth quarter in that game. But yeah, no, Minnesota. I mean, not only that, that's a tough place to play. It's loud. It's not easy to play there, and there's a very good chance that if the Vikings continue to roll, that the road to the end to the Super Bowl could roll through Minnesota. There's a lot of football left. They're only a month in, but they look real. They look absolutely real.
So a comment here from Benji Joshua, who says, didn't dominate, should have won by 40. Okay, this isn't college football. The rules that apply to Saturday do not apply to Sunday. But just to address the notion that the 49ers didn't dominate. All right, well, they put up 30 points on an NFL team, and that is never anything to sneeze at, not even the Patriots, who the only good unit that they have right now is their defensive unit. They held an NFL team to under 2 touchdowns. That's a good day against anybody, full stop. The Patriots only had 12 first downs. So they only scored 1 more point than they had first downs in the game. They only had 216 yards. The 49ers put up 431 total yards of offense and won a game by 17.
Yeah, I mean, they did dominate. They did dominate.
That's dominating a football game.
Yeah, I mean, and also let's look at the other stats internally. Did Brock Purdy have a good day? Yeah, he threw for almost 300 yards. Did Brock Purdy take a bunch of hits? No, he was only sacked once. Did Jacoby Brissett throw for a bunch of yards? No, he threw for 168. Did you get to Jacoby Brissett? Yeah, they sacked him 6 times. Could you run the ball? Yeah, the Niners ran it for almost 5 yards a carry on 32 carries. Could you stop the run?
7 yards to play all afternoon.
Yeah, could you stop the run? Yeah, you held them to 3 yards a carry. Their number 1 receivers, Demario Douglas. Did you keep him down? Yeah, he had 3 catches for 13 yards. Did your receivers get off? Yeah, JJ, Samuel, and Ayuk all had big catches. All had, they went up top. I mean, Ayuk had a 38-yard grab. Debo had a 53-yard grab. Jennings had a 45-yard grab. I mean, the Niners got super aggressive in this game.
By Jennings. I mean, that was a dime by Purdy, but the catch was just chef's kiss.
Yeah, so I mean, and then the Niners got tons of pressure. I mean, they allowed 1 sack, they got 6, they allowed 4 quarterback hits, they got 10. They got a defensive score. Here's another one. Marcus Jones is one of the NFL's more dangerous punt returners. He didn't go off. I mean, he had a 15-yard return, but he didn't have a house call. So, I mean, credit Sly, he hit a 63-yard field goal. Otherwise, it's 30-10, and you won by 20.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that is, by the way, that's the 4th longest field goal in NFL history. I mean,
it's amazing.
That was a boot right there.
Oh, the difference in a 45-yarder when I was a teenager was like, we'll see. Now it's like, if you miss from 45, you're probably cut. Now a 55-yarder is like money in the bank. And and field goals between 60 and 65, it's like, oh yeah, we'll give it a go.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Outside, inside doesn't seem like it matters.
It was Sunday Night Football a couple weeks ago. Mike Tirico was talking about 50-yard field goals, and he said basically the 50-yard field goal is now the new 300-yard drive on the PGA Tour. 300-yard drives, that would be like Tiger Woods, John Daly, small handful of guys. Everyone was topping out around 280. Now 300 is just the industry standard in the norm. You ain't even on the PGA Tour without a 300-yard drive. A 50-yard field goal used to be like the outer reaches of the solar system for a kicker, and now it's the drive-through window. Like everyone expects a 50-yarder to just be hit true at all times, and anything under 50 is a gimme. It's crazy. It's the evolution of sports and our expectations. I'll tell you, the Odell Beckham Jr. catch going back one-handed on that Monday night all those years ago. It was the first time I ever saw that play. I know see that play 3 times a week, and it's usually coming out of college games. It's just
and that's an equipment thing. That's an equipment thing.
Well,
that is. I mean, yeah. Have you ever shook hands with a high school wide receiver? Or, you know what I mean? Have you ever felt the tackiness of those gloves that they wear?
They are. It's
stick 'em times 100. It is. It's amazing. I mean, don't tell me that all of the greatest catches of all time are all in the last 7 years. Sorry.
But Fred
now you can control the ball.
Fred Biletnikoff used to have Gorilla Glue all over his hands, right? I mean, he does have
Lester Hayes
dripping off of his hands. But there's still
Biletnikoff caught a ball in the back of his hand.
Dude, the body control. Dude, Larry, one of the single greatest plays I've ever seen a wide receiver make in my entire life is how Alabama beat Georgia. Oh my God.
Yeah, Isaiah Bond, you mean last year?
Oh my God. No.
Or are you talking about this year?
I'm talking about Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday.
Well, I had Georgia. I had Georgia -6 on the teaser, and I get down to, hey, Alabama scores. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna tie the game. Oh, wait a second, they're gonna go for 2, and so I'm like, oh, so they're gonna miss the 2, and it's gonna be a 5-point game, and I'm gonna cover. No, they made the 2. It's
no one
a 7-point
gambling problems, Larry. No one
7-point game, and I lose. Oh.
But hopefully you lost using BetUS. Use promo code YouTube 150. Anyway, look, it was an unbelievable. I mean, the catch, the body control, the spin, running through traffic, the situation. Georgia had just taken the lead. That was an immediate answer. What a game, man. By the way, Indiana's 5-0, ranked.
Saw that. They won big.
Ranked. The Hoosiers are ranked. I mean,
I'm thinking about going to drag the guys out to Cal Miami next week.
Ooh, Cam Ward in town?
Cam Ward's in town, and I love me some Cam Ward.
I might have to go check out that game too. I might have to email Kyle McRae over in the Cal Athletic Department. See if Jillian
There'll be plenty of seats. There'll be plenty of seats. But go ahead.
No, look, what we were talking about. The Jennings catch was unbelievable, and I don't think that's just gloves. Look, Larry, the only one holding back Juwan Jennings from 1,000 yards is Kyle Shanahan. This guy could be a 1,000-yard receiver. I don't care about any of his measurables, how fast he didn't run into combine, where he was drafted, not drafted. I don't care. Juwan Jennings could be everything that every other really good wide receiver in this league is, if given the opportunity. And I really think that that's a bell of motivation that needs to be rung behind Deebo Samuel's ear, needs to be rung behind Brandon Ayuk's ear, and just be like, look, dude, it doesn't matter if we're cutting you $30 million checks. We're going to play the guys who are catching the ball. Now, Ayuk made a diving catch yesterday that he doesn't make a couple weeks ago. He's getting better. He's rounding into shape. But Jennings is this team's best wide receiver, just evaluating the crop through 4 games. He's their best player. I want to see him involved more, not less. And
he's
when Ricky
great.
Joins the mix, it's going to be even harder for him to get opportunities.
Well, and if you look at the, NFL stats, who are the leaders? The offensive passing leader, Brock Purdy. He's thrown for 1,130 yards. The rushing leader is Derrick Henry with 480, but number 2 on the list, Jordan Mason, 447. Number 1 receiver, as far as yardage, Nico Collins, 489, who's been amazing for Houston. Malik Neighbors, 386. 364, Juwan Jennings over Justin Jefferson. He's got more receiving yards than Justin Jefferson.
Larry, he's got more receiving yards than Juwan Jennings had all of last year. He's already eclipsed his entire season last season, 4 games into this season. So keep giving that guy opportunities and keep throwing him balls. Brock Purdy, and it's time to talk about Brock. It really is. That's his 25th regular season start. He started his 25th game. An unbelievable stat that was shared, Larry, on the post-game show last night is Brock Purdy has the highest passer rating over his first 25 career starts since the NFL merger. I'm going to say that again. Since 1970, Brock Purdy has got the best passer rating start in the NFL in 25 games. Brock Purdy is 112.6. Patrick Mahomes is 112.5. Kurt Warner is 106.2. Look
at this, Damon. Look at this one. Look at this. Look at what I'm going to show you here.
Okay.
Look at this. Since the start of last season, Brock Purdy, 14-6. Patrick Mahomes, 14-6. Passing yards, Mahomes, 5,087. Purdy, 5,410. More yards. Pass to touchdown interception ratio for Brock, 36 touchdowns, 13 picks. For Mahomes, 33 touchdowns, 3 less, 19 picks, 6 more. Passer rating, Brock, 111.3. Mahomes, 92.1. Yards per attempt, Brock, 9.6. Mahomes, 7.1. That is amazing right there.
That is amazing. Both got talent and weapons and coaches who know what they're doing. But Brock Purdy is held to a standard that is applied to no one else. And what is really odd is that every single quarterback throughout football history has been measured by their efficiency and their production, except for Brock Purdy. Apparently, those 2 things don't go into his evaluation, because if he did, he wouldn't be left off the who are some of the best quarterbacks in this league list or conversation like he is left off. It is unbelievable the start that this guy is having. And can you imagine, having now looked back and seen all that, Larry, can you imagine looking at that and then over the last 3 years trying to explain to your audience how bad Brock Purdy is at this and how much the 49ers need to replace him to be taken seriously? Can you imagine that the first 25 games of a career didn't even register to you as he might be good at this? As a matter of fact, you're saying he might be bad at this, and measurably, by statistics, he's the best at this. So it just shows you that some eyewitnesses make for lousy witnesses during the court testimony. I mean, I'm not even going to name names.
The ones that make me laugh the most are, I love the guy. Yeah, but you've just tweeted 19 different factoids that are trying to minimize his performance, but you're claiming that you love him. you love him because you know that the Niner content world will turn on you in huge number if you didn't love him. Let me play you this one, Damon. This is Brock talking about his O-line. This is interesting from post game.
Just do what it takes.
Front of you today, big holes for Mason, and for the most part, you were upright.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job, man. Just obviously it starts with the run, and for those guys to be able to give Mason the lanes that he had was huge. And then in the pass game, man, I thought they did a great job. There's some looks where it's a little crazy and stuff in there, but I think they did an amazing job of giving me time, allow me to see guys downfield and hit those third level throws. So that's a prop to them, man. So they had a chip on their shoulder this week at practice, and we all did. And so and with that being said, I still think we can all collectively as an offensive unit be better and execute in situations. So but very proud of those guys.
Damon, if you're going to connect on the kinds of down the field throws that they connected on in this game, you have to have some protection. There's you don't connect on 40 and 50-yard throws down the field without having your receivers being able to get 40 or 50 yards down the field. And a lot of these throws were not 5-yard dump offs and then the receiver did the rest. This was Brock going up top on the Patriots. So you know what? Credit the Niner offensive line, the much maligned Niner offensive line.
Yep.
You heard it there. They had a chip on their shoulder all week, and hopefully they can keep that chip on the shoulder because they played a lot better with it.
No, Larry, I'm frozen. I'm gonna go away and I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay. Maybe I'll go with some super chats. We got a bunch of supers in here. Damon's gonna reset and come back, but let me hit a couple of these supers right out of the chute. Fuji Simeon, glad the Niners won. This weekend is packed on Saturday. Reardon at SI. Go Cats, get them Cats, go get them Cats. Then college game day, Miami's coming to Cal. He says, you two going to take your families to the Cal game? Well, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. I got to see, my guys, their schedules are so packed these days. It's like hard to schedule anything. We have a hard time scheduling 3 square meals. Everybody's going to be there, but we'll try. I'd like to go check out Miami. I love Cam Ward. We got XX say trade BA to the Chiefs. Great. Yeah. Chiefs lost for She Rice. Maybe they'd want him. Everyone's worst nightmare. Time for the Niners organization to wake up and smell the roses. Build Brock a good O-line and get him a real number 1 receiver. Well, they've got the best left tackle in the game. I think Banks is a hell of a player. They invested a 2nd-round pick to get Banks, so it's not like Banks is just some bum. I'm just reading this chat that says build Brock an O-line. I'm saying, well, you got Pooney at right guard. You have Trent at left tackle. You have Banks, who's a 2nd-round pick at left guard. Really what you're saying is, you got a couple spots on your O-line that are less than ideal, center and right tackle. And, I would just go around the league and look at every team in the league and, show me how many teams have like one kind of problem spot on their offensive line. I bet you it's like most teams in the league.
Well, this is, I think, a priority for the upcoming offseason. Look at it this way. The ship that's going to sail through this season has set sail. There's no other great offensive lineman who's about to hop on it and save the day. So they got to cobble together this year with what they've got. Now they're going to get a healthier John Feliciano. When Pooney came out of the game, we saw Burford come into the game. Could he move over to center? There's a couple,
Pooney?
Drake Nugent, couple of guys, young guys on this team who might be rounding into shape somewhere around the middle of the season. And there's a change made, but it's going to be internal. I don't know if there's any outside this team player going to come in and fix that problem. But yeah, we said it during the last offseason. We were right. And we're going to say it again this offseason. They need another offensive. But here, anytime you go into a draft and you come out with one starting offensive lineman, technically you've had a pretty good offensive line draft. And the Niners did that with Dominic Pooney.
Yeah. And he's terrific. Feliciano, don't forget Feliciano. He's the one guy who's kind of in the mix here, who's not a kid, who, if Brendel struggles, they could always put Feliciano at center. We got this one from Big Dad 52. Damon, please lay into trash special teams. Pass rush better without Hargrave. Love the content. I don't know. They definitely stepped up without Hargrave.
Yeah,
they had to though.
That was a little bit of that New England offensive line rearing its head more than I believe it was, Hargrave's absence rearing its head. But look, Malik Collins played well, and I hope that Jordan Elliott's okay. He had a knee, right, Larry?
Well, it was an ankle going into the game. He rolled his ankle Thursday at practice, but it wasn't supposed to be serious. And I think it was a knee in the game. But I don't know specifically. We'll find out today at 3:00 when we talk to Shanahan.
So hopefully he's okay, because they don't need to get any thinner up front. But they did a really good job with a thin front against the New England Patriots for sure.
Yeah. Invader 49er says Gianti is one of them. He's talking about we're talking about running backs. He's a great running back. He plays Ashton Gianti. He plays for Boise State on the Smurf turf. David E says Jennings better than Ayuk. I don't think he's better than Ayuk, but I think he's more reliable than Ayuk. I mean, Jennings is a money player. If you put money on the table, he rises to the occasion. Ayuk is a little more passive, a little bit more lets the game come to him. But I think Ayuk is the better. Ayuk's the bigger talent, the longer arms, the more speed. Ayuk's got more talent, but I think JJ gets more out of his talent.
I think that Brandon Ayuk's going to play himself into shape. Juwan Jennings came in shape and ready to go. And what you're looking at is the difference between these two cars are one is tuned up. The other is still kind of just coming out of the garage after it's tuned up. So Jennings hit the ground running from week 1. And hopefully we're going to see a much better Brandon Ayuk starting in week 5. But he did some things that made me go, there he is. There's the guy we know in this past game. So I think it's about to get better. I really do. Do you have more supers, chat? Because
we got more supers here. We got a few more here. Joseph Ernberg, is it true CMC has tendonitis in both Achilles?
It's the first I've heard of it.
I don't know. I don't know his situation. He did walk out of the locker room yesterday, and so it's not like he's incapacitated. Jerry Moore says, "Let's talk about the D line and Anderson. How did he look? He looks the way he looks, which is great feet." Probably about 15 to 20 pounds too heavy, still kind of reproportioning his body weight. But the reason the Niners gave this cat $280,000 guaranteed to sign as an undrafted free agent is because he's got functional strength in the neighborhood of a DJ Jones. He's got great functional strength. You cannot move this guy. If you double him and combo block him, he's got the strength to split it. And he's got quick feet, and that, quicker feet than you think. He's a little bit more of a pass rusher than you think. When Evan Anderson gets in full shape, I would say by next summer in camp, you're going to see a player that is going to be part of their defensive line for years to come, I think.
Larry,
he's really, really talented.
This is Wake Up. This is a 49er show. We're talking football. We're not going to stop talking football. However, Susan Slesser has just reported that Farhan has been let go by the San Francisco Giants.
Good.
Yeah, it needed to happen. You could.
I've been talking about this for a while. I've been tweeting about this for a while. I've been talking about this for a while. Yes, this is a Niner show, and we'll make it a Niner show, but we're also Bay Area people, and we have opinions on the Giants and the Warriors. And, Farhan is very, very smart. But, at the end of the day, you don't just need to be smart. You need to be able to sell. And sales is the general manager job is a sales job. I don't think people realize that. It's a sales job. That's what it is. It's a sales job. You have to sell. You have to sell your vision for the future of your team to agents, opposing players, your players, the media, fans. You have to sell. That's the way it's done. You have to be a salesman. You have to be able to sell. He can't sell. I had a guy.
You can't not sell. You can't not sign. You can't not develop. His entirety has been very yawnish, but for a 107 win season, not a lot happened there. And that 107 win season happened in the vacuum of such a quirky time for sports because of COVID that you can't really take your data points from it. It's the years around that 107 that really explained what he was as a general manager. And you're right. His bedside manner, his ability to communicate with players, agents, managers. There's a reason why Farhan and Kapler got along so well, because they were both the two weirdest dudes in the room. So maybe they gravitated their weirdness towards each other. They were both oddly antisocial, yet could put on a good face and play the part a little bit, but you could tell they didn't want to. Here's
my tweet on this, Damon. I said, Giants fans are eagerly awaiting this decision by ownership group. If Farhan Zaidi is fired, there will instantly be renewed optimism among Giants fans because the fans believe in both Buster Posey and, for the most part, this ownership group, which has presided over 3 World Series titles not that long ago. I said, if Farhan is retained, it will be ripped by the real fans who will correctly claim that this signifies more of the same in 2025, which means no creative trades, a long list of nothing and meaningless transactions, more failed premier free agent hitter pursuits, more of Farhan blaming others, the city, the crime, the taxes for his own failures, no real commitment to the plan to go with youth or anything other than another Farhan save-ass campaign. I said the choice is clear. Regime change is the only answer. Goodbye, Farhan. Goodbye, Bo Mel. Go get a real GM with a proven track record of rebuilding depleted farm systems. Pour huge money into player development. Copy A.J. Preller and get serious about being a major player in the international free agent market like the Padres. That's baseball's most dynamic prospect pool. And stop with the GD excuses. You're minting money. Stop being LA's weaker, smaller little brother. Enough. You're a rich, iconic franchise. Act like it. So, you know what?
Tweet? That was my book, not a tweet, Larry.
Well, but that's what happens. I've got special status. No, but that's it right there. I mean, it's like, come on, man. You had to pull the plug on this guy. And all these people, I had people going, well, dude, he's done so much for the farm system.
No, he hasn't.
Put a sock in it. There's not a single credible evaluator of farm systems that has ranked the Giants system in the top 10 and any point of the Farhan tenure. So stop telling me how great the farm system is. And people who tell you how great the farm system is and then talk about future prospects, dude, you look at me. I've got gray hair. Jesse Foppert was on the cover of Baseball America. Jerome Williams, Kurt Ainsworth, Joe Rosselli, J.R. Phillips, Gary Brown. We can do this all day and all night. Don't tell me about the future prospects. Show me the guys that he has drafted, developed, promoted to the big leagues, and are now established big league stars. And the list is non-existent. And compare that to other teams, and that's why he's out. So he needed to go, and this is a great day for the Giants. And I would definitely empower the new general manager to pick his own manager. If he doesn't want boring Bo Mel, then he should be able to tell boring Bo Mel to take a hike. And look, don't saddle him with this manager if the new GM doesn't want the manager.
I would also think that Bob Melvin might do really good with an actual Major League Baseball team that wasn't built to be the most 500 team of all time. And by the way, it is the most Farhan thing possible is he built the single most 500 team ever assembled, yet still came in 2 games under 500. And his instead of finishing at 81-81, they're 80-82, Larry. So they couldn't even be the most 500-ish 500 team of all time. And again, it's time to say goodbye to Mike Yastrzemski. Okay. It's time to say goodbye to Farhan's projects and I like this guys and get in. I would rather see the Giants bottom out to a 70-win team, allowing its younger players 400, 500 major league at-bats and learning what you really got, than have another 80-ish win team that we think if we could just get into the playoffs, you'll what? lose to the Dodgers, the Padres, the Phillies, the big boys, the Braves. You're not even in the same conversation with those teams with the way that this team has been run. So there you go. And Larry, it could be a great day for the 49ers too, because Steve-O just wants to let everyone know Farhan for special teams coach. Yeah. Bravo, Steve-O. I'm going to golf clap you on that one. That was
a couple more here. Fuji Simeon says, after a few home games, Larry, have you noticed the new tailgate rules in effect at Levi's? Also, how's the press box media food they serve at Levi's? It's decent. It's decent in I no complaints. I got no complaints about the food. Some days it's better than others.
They don't charge, which separates them from the Warriors used to not charge. And the Giants, it's funny. And whether the Giants charged or not, I never paid in there. So,
really? I always paid.
The ladies love me. They just let me go. I was on the Marty Lurie plan.
Wow, look at you! I think you might get a bill here just from divulging this in the live stream.
What if Larry Bear sends me
retroactive bill for thousands?
Yeah, Damon, we QR coded you into the stadium. We know when you were there. We know you. I haven't been there.
Like you, if you could pretty much sell one of your vehicles and just pay us some money.
Let me say this, since I'm the guy who's known to be ripping Levi's Stadium, when you walk in there, sometimes they have a separated from the normal buffet table its own little station where they're doing omelets or fried rice to order, or a chow mein
bar, whatever.
Yeah, they do a little.
Yesterday was omelets.
Omelets to order. Those are good. Those are because it's fresh made. They do it right in front of you. Those are good. They got the same shitty nachos and chicken nuggets over there as they've always had. There's nothing.
Well, yesterday they did not have the chicken nuggets at halftime. They went with tri-tip sandwiches.
Ooh, okay. Well, pardon me. This is why I'm glad you're there watching these things, because we needed that insider information.
Ooh, it was really good. It was good.
Hey, take care of the media. Take care of the media. Feed the media. We're all freaking poor and broke anyways.
Cool, calm, collective. Do you still need professional video shot at Sam's? I'm a local videographer and will work for Oysters, Rockefeller, and Chapina. We actually do have some pictures already.
Thanks for the offer. I've got a couple of oars in the water too of people who are going to go get us some new footage, but we do appreciate it. Thank you very, very much.
John Kalua, any scenario where Mason can make CMC expendable? Oh, wow.
Let's not go there.
Wouldn't that be something? CMC traded.
That would be an awful lot of dead cap money wrapped up in CMC over the next couple of years. So the answer is no, that's not going to happen. But here's the deal. Well, I mean, why even look at it as one or the other when you've got both?
Thunder and lightning.
There it is. Who was it with Reggie Bush? Lendell White? Who was the...
I thought it was Thunder and Lightning was the wasn't it Tiki Barber and like Ahmad Bradshaw or something like that, or was it Jacobs and maybe Brandon Jacobs and Tiki Barber?
Maybe I'm thinking of USC.
Yeah, Thunder and Lightning was the New York Giants, I think. Tommy Huxley says bench Colton McGiveth, pressures immediately. Oh gosh, come on, Tommy. Fuji Simeon. Recommended Sam's to an SI friend and his fiance. What convinced him was not the weather, the scenery, or the food. No, it was because the guy who sings the SI fight song, Larry, convinced my friend on Sam's. Ha ha. Oh, red and blue will all be true, or wave our banners to the sky. Oh, red and blue will fight for you. We'll fight for St. Ignatius High, and victory will be our goal, and we will reach it if we try. We're going to fight. We're going to fight. We're going to fight.
You know who I saw Saturday, Larry?
Who's that?
Butcher Boy, Joe Shasky, because I was at the Reardon game. I walked over to the Reardon game with the family. I brought the boys, and who did they play? What's the private? Yeah, with
that's where Shasky went. Shasky's an SH guy. Oh no, Shasky's a Reardon guy.
Reardon guy. Yeah, he's a Reardon guy. Reardon whooped.
Wait, are you sure about that? I think Shasky might be an SH guy.
Oh no, Shasky's Reardon all the way through.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
You sure about that?
I'd bet a child on that. Shasky.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
He's
good buddies with my friend Joe Delacella, who's an SH guy. So that kind of made me think he was an SH guy.
I'm just telling you right now, that Reardon football team has got an offensive line full of kids that are just bigger than normal high school kids. They look good, Larry. They had, I think they put 63 points on the board the other day. And the poor SI, whoever it was, the Irish.
Yeah, it was Reardon SH. By the way, Damon, how about this one? Next weekend. Glad the Niners won. The weekend is packed for Saturday. Reardon at SI in the Sunset. Then College Game Day, Miami at Cal. And he asked us if we're going to the Cal game.
Wait, it was college Game Day's not going to that Miami game in Berkeley, are they?
Yes. College Game Day is coming to Berkeley.
Where are they going to set up on campus? And what, are 19 fans going to show up? I mean, what?
It's not going to be like Tuscaloosa.
Oh, dude, wait until you see that response in Berkeley. I'm already embarrassed.
No, seriously. It'll probably be at like a marijuana dispensary. They'll probably have the College Game Day. We're here at this blankety blank dispensary.
By the way, thank you very much for being a member, Kevin Wood, for 9 months. I appreciate you being a member, Kevin. Crusaders, go Reardon, FSI.
Oh, look at that.
Sorry.
You can't even spell F right. That's Reardon for you. You can't. Excuse me, can you spell F? No, I can't. Oh, you can go to Reardon. That's the SI entrance exam right there. Can you spell the letter F? EFF. Oh, you're headed to Reardon. Thanks for coming. We'll beat you down in football, basketball, and baseball, but thanks for coming. And someday you can work for us. All right. That last line was really mean-spirited. Bradley Brown says that O-line was trash. I want to see that shit against a good O-line. Enough of this praise over Shaq stepping on a midget.
Man, no. That's
the NFL.
Yeah, it's the NFL.
Play who you play.
That team beat the Cincinnati Bengals week 1 in Cincinnati.
That team also took Seattle to OT in Seattle, right?
They're not good. I'll agree with you. They're not good, but those guys get paid too.
Right. They're,
I see what he did. Look at what Baby Radiance did here.
Niners dominated for Dom Pooney. I like that.
I like it very much. Can I share some? We got more. We got more.
College Game Day at Berkeley for the David E says College Game Day at Berkeley for the first time. Go Bears. Those seats will go fast.
I got to talk to Jillian about this.
I know.
She told me the other day. She's like, I want to go to the big game this year. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. We got to get kid coverage.
When is it though? Do you know?
What, the big game?
Yeah, because I know the schedules for all the rivalry games have gotten screwed up because of the conference switching, and we got Oregon State, Oregon already. The Civil War's already been played. And
already had. They're not in the same conference anymore. So
I know. I wonder when Cal Stanford is. I love the big game. I love going to the big game. Tony Ugaitafa says, "Hey, here you go, $1."
There you go.
Thank you, Tone. Michael Carroll says Damon jumps right back from disconnection like a consummate pro. Respect.
Well,
Look at that.
you.
$5 for the way you came back onto the show. Wait a second. Let's see if we can do this again. And there he is. Five more.
Everybody.
We just do this for $5 every time.
Try it again.
Okay.
Try it again.
I will. And let's see. And he's gone like that. It's like we're bad magicians. We take that away. Let's see if he's back. Oh, there he is. It's an amazing trick. Okay, we got this one. If this were a kid's birthday party, they'd be impressed. Tony says, Burford at right tackle, Nugent share reps at center. Thoughts? Well, I mean, I'll say this. Burford looked really good at right tackle this last week. His footwork was fantastic. He looked really, really good. And as far as Nugent, I like Nugent. Nugent, though, himself would say that he needs more practice time before he's ready. So I don't think Nugent's quite ready.
That's big. The same crowd is the same crowd who goes, So Ronnie Bell, he can't catch. Move him to corner. You need another corner. Just have Ronnie Bell play corner. Like that is no.
No. Mike Baker, too many Niner fans have a case of, buts. Tired of all the negativity, even when we win. Yeah, I mean, I got to say, it's like, do you think you're a better media member if you're like, hey, Brock, tell us about your offensive line and the job they did yesterday? Or are you a better media member if you say, what happened on the pick? You know what I mean? What you turned the ball over once. You know, you had what was the worst play of the day? What happened there?
You had the best.
Know. I mean, it's I'm not really asking more than anything.
You have the best 25 game start since the merger. Why are you such a fuck up?
Right. Yeah, exactly. What happened? Michael Carroll, I think Kyle listened to your podcast all week. Keep up the quality control. Watch out for BA to have a great game. He can't be terrible forever. I will say this. I did yell and scream, get Yadam off the field for Renardo Green. But I also yelled, get Campbell off the field for for a faster linebacker, D. Winters. And we didn't, we saw Winters a little bit, but I want to see Winters a lot more. I thought Campbell got ripped in this game, and Renardo Green played much better than Luter. I think they found something there, Renardo Green can play man-to-man, and Renardo Green can mirror better than Yadam, so he needs to play. King Linner says, do you guys think Ricky Pearsall plays this week? I do. I think we're going to see Ricky in Arizona. That's exciting, huh, Damon?
I mean, if he's out there for 10 snaps, I would take the under if you set the over and under on 10. Kyle Shanahan hates rookies. So I don't know. I don't know if we will see Ricky Pearsall. If you told me we didn't see him at all this year, there's a part of me that would believe you. Apparently, the plan is we never see Jacob Cowing.
Well,
apparently,
he played.
That's the plan.
He played this week, and then he got dinged on his shoulder, and then they announced literally he was in there for like one play. He got hit on the shoulder, and like 3 minutes later in the press box, injury news from the 49ers, Jacob Cowing with a bruised shoulder. His status to return is questionable. It's like, so, I mean, I think Pearsall will be up, and he'll probably get Cowing's spot this week.
I hope so. I really hope so. Wouldn't it be something? I mean, what's really, really, as everybody was ready to flush the season, why even bother playing at 1-2? Now there's a little hope, rising again at 2-2. Let me offer you this. If you were out and are now back in, which means you're a terrible football fan and have no idea right. What you're looking at. But anyways,
why were you out?
Ricky Pearsall is coming. We don't even know what he is. He could be absolutely nothing. He could be something. He could be more than something. And if he's more,
first-round pick,
look out. Right. He's a first-round pick. The expectations are high. Christian McCaffrey is coming. At one point this year, the 49ers will add the reigning offensive player of the year. That feels like a pretty good thing. And at some point, if we're all lucky, around Christmas, Dre Greenlaw is walking back in the room. So they are built to get better. And it's good because they need to be better. And the schedule's about to get harder. But the 49ers have some real value add players that have yet to play this season. And that should be, that should make things easier in a year that hasn't gotten off to an easy start at all.
We're going to know a lot more about the Niners next week after Arizona than we know this week. I mean, this week it was the game where it was all set up for them to win, and they won. Mm-hmm. But and I understand the people who are like, "Hey, it's New England." I get it. You play your schedule. You play who's in front of you. But ultimately, they're right. We're going to find out more next week against Arizona. Fuji Simeon said Buster Posey to be the new president of baseball operations. Good. Kevin Wood says Crusaders go Reardon FSI. It's against everything I know to even read that. But at least I can read, Kev, because I went to SI. Big Dad 52 says Brock Purdue is him.
Don't call him that.
But he seems to pass up easy checkdowns. Thoughts? He doesn't want to check it down. You're right.
No, it's
his fault. That's his weakness. Right?
He wants more. He's looking for more. He doesn't want to be dink and dunk. Let me just give you this for Brock, okay? Let me just share with you some numbers. Because yesterday, I thought, with his arm, I'm going to call it sort of a pedestrian day. He had he had a touchdown called back, the Jordan Mason total bullshit George Kittle holding call. That was as bad of a call as you'll see all year. But that took, Brock Purdy threw 3 touchdowns and only got credit for one of them on one drive. He threw 3 touchdown,
4 penalties.
Touchdown to Juszczyk came back, touchdown to Mason came back, and then Kittle made the high point, beautiful catch over 3 Patriots in the end zone, and that was fantastic. I thought his one wish he had that back. I think he was trying to force it to Ayuk, the interception. I just think he wanted to get Ayuk a touchdown, and so he made a throw he normally would not make, should not make, but I understand why he did it. Through 25 career starts, he's completed 477 out of 690 passes. That's 61% for 6,500 yards and 47 touchdowns. His 69% completion percentage, 47 touchdowns, and 112.6 passer mark ranks him first among 49er quarterbacks in their first 25 starts. So through 25 games, he's the best 49er quarterback ever. Okay? Like, if you miss that because you were trying to sell to your audience that this guy's not good and needs to be replaced and Trey Lance is much, much, much better and Kyle doesn't know what he's doing, you have checked all the don't even understand what you're looking at boxes humanly possible. He's off to a better start in his career than Jeff Garcia in terms of passing yards. He's off to a better start in his career than a guy named Joe Montana, statistically. And I also thought yesterday it was his best day with his feet ever. Larry, he bought himself time. He moved around that pocket. His pickups of first downs, you can't go broke taking a profit. He ran for first downs exactly when he needed to. He had some unbelievable, could like call and order a pizza levels of protection. And unfortunately, he didn't find much in those moments where he had to either the sack that he took, he ran into because he was running around so much. I thought it was one of the best days with his legs he's ever had. And I agree. I have no doubts about the guy.
Well, I mean, and in baseball, they always say, hey, the last thing to come is power. Well, I think in football, in a lot of ways, if you're a pocket passer, the last thing to come is your ability to use your legs. I mean, Steve Young has preached this so consistently for the last few years that in today's NFL, there are yards that the defense will give you with your legs, and you have to take it. If you don't take it, you're operating at, not 100% efficiency. I mean, you really have to take the yards that they give you. When they give you rush lanes in the NFL, you really got to take them because they're so good at covering up the rest of the field that a lot of times they'll trade, they'll have coverage on a player, but they'll give you a run lane. And if you don't take the run lane, you're sitting there with no yardage gain. So Purdy has really, since the second half of last year, we saw it in the playoffs, when you up the ante, he's so competitive that he's going to turn and run. And he did it against Detroit. He did it against Green Bay, did it against Kansas City, and he's continued it into this year. And I think it's a part of his game that's I think, Damon, here to stay and something that we're going to see quite a bit. He even joked in the post game about how he has a faster 10-yard split than McCaffrey and some of the other guys. Brock Purdy, there's all these props every week about his rush totals, and the over-under is always set at like 5.5 yards. And I keep going over. He had 5 carries for 11 yards yesterday, including a 7-yard run. That's not a ton, but he's running at least once or twice a game if you give him a lane, kind of like Mahomes. Mahomes is that way. He doesn't look to run. Mahomes wants to pass. But if you give him a fourth quarter run lane, he's going to take it because he's that kind of a competitor.
It was a good day for the Niners, Larry.
Yep.
It's funny. Leave it to the Giants to try to scream into the void looking for attention on a day where the Niners are in full season. It's Warriors media day, but Farhan gets the axe. So there'll be an awful lot to talk about when I do my normal 11 o'clock show tomorrow, but I'm off to Warriors media day right now, Larry. So
can I ask you one question before you leave? Sure. Do you think that the Giants did this almost like a Friday media dump because they know today they're sharing with the Warriors and everybody's not going to be on the Giants tip today. They're going to be on the Niners. They're going to be on the Warriors. The Giants are part of it, but not the entire discussion. Do you think they chose today, or is today just because it's the first day of the offseason?
Yes, I think the Giants are among the most media-sensitive teams in the market. And yeah, it's also, you could say it's the Monday after the season ended, so it's the day you do something like this. And there is some truth to that, too. Look, the right move would have been firing Farhan a month ago and getting a lead lap on the rest of the league as the carousel turns and everyone starts looking for new jobs. But they waited to the end. For whatever reason, it's over. Our national nightmare is over. So there you go.
I didn't enjoy the Farhan era. I like Farhan as a guy. I thought he was glib and interesting to talk to. But you know what?
I need a baseball guy, not a mathematician.
Wait a second. Robert Baldacci says, Larry, New England Patriots plus 10. You took the points. No, actually, I didn't take the points. Yesterday, my wager on the Niners was I teased the Niners to the over. I was going to go to the under, right? But when I saw that you could tease it to 36, down to 36 and go over, I'm like, 36? That's way too low. So I took the Niners on the tease to the over. So I had the Niners -3 over 36. So
all I know is that I was doing
winner chicken dinner.
I was doing a Bet US promo during my post-game show, and I looked at the Sunday night game, and I put $50 on the Ravens. I'm like, I think they're going to beat the Bills. And everyone's like, oh, you're an idiot, Damon. The Buffalo, blah, 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 blah. Shut up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. I think John Lund might have had that too, because he was very, very paying a lot of attention to Ravens Bills in the postgame. All right, that's going to do it for us. Giants dumped their general manager. All is good with the world. We've got one more here from Rakib Jumani. Good morning, gents. Took my friend to his first Niners game. We had a blast. As a bonus, I took him to Sam's, and we absolutely loved it. Thanks.
Love it. Love it. Thank you.
That is awesome.
Look, you can take care of me and Larry by hitting like, subscribe, notify, and be here when we put our videos up and watch them. You can help us also by supporting our sponsors, supporting those who support us. So go to Sam's, hit like and subscribe, hit notify, both channels, and we'll see you again on Wednesday for another wake up. 2-2, Larry. The birds are out. The sun is shining. Got media day. Buster Posey's making decisions.
The only thing better than what we've just witnessed here today is after this weekend, there's no doubt that Coach and I's asses are fired.